Here we
Wait, no.
go.
It was probably the longest drive I have ever taken for a pizza delivery.
Dude. Okay.
From the pizza place I worked at, it was a 20-minute drive, which isn't too crazy out where I live.
Okay, 20-minute drive ain't
Plus,
that
they
bad.
ordered 4 large pies, so I figured it was a party, and I would get a much bigger tip.
Yeah, like a probably bigger tip.
Navigating the dirt roads at night was always annoying, though. I pulled up to the given address.
Dude,
it was some old, sketchy-looking building, literally in the middle of a forest clearing. Dude, there were no cars parked anywhere, or any lights on.
Dude, like mine's starting to water.
I put my car in park and called my boss. I asked him to reread the address at least 3 times to make sure I typed it in right, but that checked out.
Drop off.
I could tell he was in a really bitchy mood, and he told me to at least knock on the door and check it out.
Okay, well, at least knock on the door. So, number one, where's the gun at,
took back 1 pie,
no, let me
but I was afraid of what he would do if I brought back 4.
None of these horror stories would even happen.
I was insanely unnerved, but got out anyway and forced myself to the front door of the building.
So, just go knock on it, and like, the first time you knock on it, just run back to the car, right?
I just knocked really hard.
Okay, knock. No run.
I heard nothing, and didn't really expect to hear anything.
Hold on, guys. My cat is freaking in the trash can again. Stop.
Not because nobody answered the door, but because I was realizing that it was all a waste of time and gas. I knocked 1 more time out of desperation.
Maggie, I'll give you some food in a minute, okay, baby?
And then began to hear some kind of rustling noises from inside of the building.
Nah. Dude, run! Why are you still standing there? Oh my... Okay.
I knocked again and yelled that I was the pizza guy.
Yeah, oh my...
There was silence now.
Just run back to the car.
I felt a bit more uncomfortable now than before.
Dude, you need to run back to the car, like, right now.
Before I could turn around,
I'm gonna hate you, right?
I noticed something at the window.
Nah.
There was someone looking through the window. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. All I noticed were their eyes. Their eyes were open wider than I knew possible.
Nah!
Run.
You need to run. You need to run right freaking now before you die.
I was disturbed enough by this and dropped the pizzas and ran back to my car.
Yo.
The shitty thing wouldn't start until turning the key for the 3rd time.
Garbage car. Bruh.
I drove off the grass and back onto the dirt road. But I felt the car rocking about, shaking and bumping.
While they drove away.
Something wasn't right.
No, I'm good. All right.
I didn't make it far from the building before I started hearing a sharp scraping sound coming from outside. Let me guess, you probably cut your freaking tires
because if there's more than one person and you were standing there for like literally like 12 hours, all right?
The car came to a stop.
Either they're underneath the car,
I got
or
out
the
of
car
the car to check what the hell was wrong.
They messed up your engine or
a chill ran up
something.
my spine.
I don't know. Put
as
a nail in your tire.
I began to feel like my heart was constantly skipping beats.
Oh God.
My tires had been slashed and had completely fallen off the rim.
I freaking knew it, Maggie.
Not just the front,
the trash can, baby.
All 4 tires were
I'm just gonna sit in
slashed.
my chair just in case Maggie
I realized
gets in my trash
somebody
can again.
did this when I was knocking on the door to that building. Instead of running, I got back in the car and locked the doors.
Dude, call the police, sorry.
Like, you need... I could practically see it from where I was.
These protagonists not a
gun.
gun.
For the trees blocking the view.
Be in these situations.
I dialed 911 and explained everything to the operator.
That's a perfect idea.
She told me the cops would be over as soon as possible, and that I need to stay hidden.
20 years to get there. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
If it was advisable to stay in the car or run, and she told me
to stay in the car for now.
Best to stay in the car with the door locked.
Then run for your life.
She asked me to stay on the line with her until the cops arrived.
Man, what
My
in
whole
the
body
world?
was shaking.
Okay.
In all directions, there was nothing but dark, seemingly endless forest. I knew it would take forever for the cops to get there.
Oh God, heck no!
I was not comfortable sitting in a car so close to whoever did this.
Eyes are watering, dude.
The next part, though, is what utterly destroyed me.
No, let me guess.
It still shakes me to this day, and I hope nobody ever has to experience this kind of fear.
What is it? Let me guess.
As I was scanning all the windows, making sure nobody was outside, I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was the same person. The same person I saw at that window.
Gosh.
Eyes open wider than ever.
No.
I could see now that it was a woman. And I could ever so slightly see a smile begin to spread across her face.
Dude, I'm so scared. My eyes are literally like watering so bad.
Not caring how much noise I made. I ran until I was out of breath, which didn't take long, and I hid behind a giant log on the ground. I tried to cover my loud breathing with my hands as I waited and waited for what felt like hours until I finally heard sirens in the distance.
Dude, wait.
I gathered up all the stamina I had left to run all the way back in the direction of the dirt road.
Just
Eventually,
run.
the glowing red and blue lights came into view,
Let's go.
and I had never felt better in my life.
Alright. Of course you'll feel better after seeing the freaking police, right?
Investigating with
Now these guys
flashlights.
have guns, right? So like,
I came out yelling at them like a lunatic to help me.
Help me.
I fell to the floor
Bruh.
and started to gag, almost throwing up from
Okay,
running
well,
so
just
much.
don't throw up, right? Don't throw up all
They
over the
picked me
shoes,
up
or else
and
they'll
began
probably
to
just
question
throw you
me,
back in that
to which
car.
I
and just
explained
leave you-
everything
I'm
to the
just
best of
kidding.
my
I'm just
ability.
kidding.
One of the two cars drove over to the
Okay,
building,
don't get stabbed,
and the two
okay? Because
officers
I
began to search the
don't want to be held
building.
responsible.
They came back with nothing
My husband got
except for a
stabbed
couple
because
of
he went
spiky
blue, right?
objects. These objects were exactly the same as the
man.
ones used to slash my tires.
They didn't get caught?
The cops guessed that it was some kind of sick, demented
Bruh.
couple, being that I saw the woman, but
Man, like-
unfortunately they were
I'm
never
not sure what they could
found,
have done, to be honest.
and that still kills me to this day.
Man.
I obviously quit my job right after that,
Yeah,
and
well, I guess
started
that's it.
working at a local grocery store.
Oh
I know
my...
that I'll never forget seeing that woman
Hope you guys
at the
enjoyed.
back of my car.